Hey guys, welcome back to the DeHart house. My name is Alicia and this is my video podcast YouTube channel all about the crafty things that I like to do, like knitting, spinning, and hopefully soon weaving. I'm really excited about that potential. So welcome. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you're returning, welcome. So today is Sunday, June 7th of 2020, and I'm coming to you from the living room today because I'm home alone. Yeah, Michael is driving our niece down to her grandmother's house. We picked her up from the airport yesterday evening, and she stayed the night, and Michael's driving her down to California, and then he'll be back. So I'm here at the house by myself. Well, Marjorie's here with me, our Labrador, which makes the trip easier if it's just Michael going instead of also another human and a dog. But anyway, yeah, so I'm doing something a little bit different. I hope you like what I've done differently. So what I'm trying to do is somewhat of a hybrid of a vlog with regular sit-down chats with you. So I've made it a point to try to film every day, a little something every day. And that little something is not necessarily crafty content, because I may not always be able to really sit down and talk about progress on a project every day. So there may be some tidbits in there about gardening, running, hanging out, in the backyard, whatever. So I hope you enjoy. So let me roll through the footage from this past week, starting on June 1st. So today is Sunday. So let me get you all caught up on things I've been doing this week so that I can share with you the progress that I've made up until today. Hey Marjorie, bring me that ball. Drop it. Let go. No. Well, then fine, I'm not throwing it. Dirty hands. Oh, it's Monday, June 1st. Okay. I am witnessing a bug caught in a spider web. I have never witnessed that before. What an odd moment. Ouch. The light is just so Marjorie has no idea what she's standing next to. Do you, Marjorie? Hello. Dog on a ledge. Yes. You see this bug flickering around in this bush? It's because he's caught in a spider web and he's trying to get free. I don't know if you can see the sun catching that spider web. He's moving. Maybe I can get a better angle. Yeah, so it's June 1st, and I'm sitting in the backyard. I'm actually wearing my weekender sweater, which is really awesome. I love it so much. I'm wearing it next to skin. I do not have a shirt on underneath. And the first day I did that, it felt a little, not scratchy, but a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It just had a little bit of toothiness to it, but just a smidgen, not very much. But now it just feels amazing. So I think I just needed to wear it a few days, and I absolutely love it. I love the color. I'm so glad I went with this green. I think it's just tremendous. I do wish the sweater was just a little bit longer, but I'm very happy with it. So this is a pattern I would knit again. And if I did knit it again, I would make it just a little bit longer, and I think I would make this neckline just a little bit smaller. Just because I feel like this is a nice, this is a pretty nice neckline. But I think for wearing it to work, I would want this just to be cinched up a bit. So, yeah. But I am sitting in the backyard on this glorious Monday evening. Marjorie, come over here. Good girl. She was checking out the neighbor's backyard, but I don't want to encourage that behavior. I love her just walking on the background behind me. Yeah, so I'm sitting in the backyard. It's Monday evening, so I don't know why, but loud cars driving by all day long is what happens here. And I know this because I'm sitting up in my craft room working from home every day, and I have the window cracked open to let in fresh air. And so I get to hear motorcycles and people revving their engines, and trucks hauling trailers, squeaky trailers driving by. It's more noisy than I thought. So I guess now I know what Marjorie hears all day long when she's home by herself, is that ambient noise of the cars and trailers going by the house. So anyway, I spent this morning working. It is a working day. I did grade a bunch of exams over the weekend and finished up today, this morning, and I was able to post grades for my students and had conversations with them about classwork. So that's how I spent the majority of my day. I did have a meeting to attend this afternoon for a committee that I'm on, and so I'm attending those through Zoom. So I'm not actually going to campus and attending anything in person, right? We're still working from home. So I will say, since it is June 1st, the governor's stay home, stay healthy order was lifted last night. Or it ended last night, so that's good. Okay. She did not want a drink of water. She just thought I would want to go inside. Oh, you're so thoughtful. That's great. No, my neighbor came out and took out his trash, and I was able to get Marjorie's attention before she ran over there to bark at him, so that was good. He's not out there anymore, honey. I know. Anyway, so I'm in Washington State, and the stay-home order ended May 31st. That was the last day. And so today's June 1st, it's the next day. Now, that doesn't mean it's a free-for-all across the state. We are still having to phase in according to certain guidelines, and those phases are determined by county. So there are some counties in the state that are already moving into phase 2. I'm in a county that's still in phase 1 or phase 0, if there is such a thing. I don't know. I don't think we've moved at all. Anyway. So, I have been knitting with my hand-spun yarn. So, the last video I made for you guys, I showed you my hand-spun yarn. And I don't have this camera set to autofocus. Duh. I am recording on my phone, which is not ideal for focus and sound, but it is a great picture. And more convenient than bringing my laptop out here to sit in the backyard. Anyway, yeah, so I'm knitting with my hand spun, and this is the 3rd skein. I've made so much progress. So, I decided what pattern to knit, and I had to base that decision off of how much total yardage I spun, and the thickness of the yarn. Most of you know, if not all of you, that there's fingering weight patterns and worsted weight patterns and whatnot. So I had to take the weight of the yarn into account. So I decided to cast on the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer, and you have no idea how tickled I am that there are so many Alicias in the knitting community. It just, every time I see an Alicia, I'm just like, oh, yay! I just find that so funny. Anyway, so this is by a pattern by Alicia Plummer, and it is a pattern you have to pay for. The Campside Shawl is a free pattern. And the Campside Cardi has the same eyelet pattern design, just incorporated into a cardigan, which is super fun. And I knit the Campside Shawl a few years ago. Actually wore it a couple days ago. Was it yesterday? Oh my gosh, that was yesterday. Yesterday, Mike and I went on a walk with Marjorie, and I wore this sweater and my Campside shawl. Because it was a really chilly day, like the high was 60 degrees. It was cloudy, and so it was like gorgeous sweater weather for walking. So anyway, so that's what I decided to cast on, and I have been knitting on this thing non-stop since I cast this on. So it's been about a week I've been working on this thing, and it's so big. Just love it. So this might be a little bit challenging to show out here in the sunlight, but so the skein that I cast on with is actually the last skein that I spun, because the last skein that I spun had the most yardage. So my original plan was to to knit with the skeins from most yardage to the least amount of yardage. And then I decided to actually look at the yarn. So they're not in order of most yardage to least yardage, but more on like the thickness of the yarn and the quality of the spin and stuff. So it wouldn't be like back and forth drastic kind of thing, if that makes sense. Because I am still new to spinning and I'm not super consistent about it. I still have areas of improvement, and the skeins do not all look identical. Not just because of the color of the yarn, but because of either the spinning of the plies individually, the singles, or plying them together. Anyway, long story short. So I have I'm showing you the back side of the cardigan. I have the yoke top part is finished. I have the sleeve stitches on waist yarn, and I have started the eyelet pattern. And the eyelet pattern on the cardigan is written in 4 separate charts. You work charts 1, 2, 3, and 4 all down the body. I am on the 4th chart right now. So I've already finished 1, 2, and 3. I'm on the 4th chart right now. And then when I finish the 4th chart, I will do the ribbing at the bottom, which is super exciting. So I will say I did swatch for this sweater, and the pattern calls for, I believe it's US size 8 needles as the main needle size. There is one above and one below as well. So I swatched with a US size 8 and I did not get gauge, so I went down and then down and then down again. So I'm knitting with US size 5 needles. I'm just double checking. Nope, US size 6. I'm knitting, this is the size up. So the main needle size is a US size 5 that I use. So I had to go down 3 needle sizes, which is something I don't normally have to do. But I also don't normally knit with hand spun yarn because I'm new to spinning and I'm new to this. So anyway, so I did have to adjust my needle size to get gauge, but I did get gauge according to the pattern. And so I'm very happy with it. So I will talk about more of the details as we go along. And I want to keep you guys up to date on this adventure because this is so fun, and this yarn at first felt still kind of a little greasy and a little toothy, but the more I work with it, the softer and softer it feels, and I'm so delighted. I just want to keep working on this. So this is my June 1st update. Oh gosh, I'm so happy with it so far. Anyway, so this is Alicia coming to you live from her backyard in Tacoma, Washington. And I'm going to finish my beer and then play fetch with my dog and then have a relaxing evening with my husband. So I will sign off and see you guys tomorrow. Good girl. Oh. Good girl. Oh yeah. Oh, what a happy dog. So I did a little bit of rearranging in the craft room, mostly tidying up. So this is my grandmother's hope chest that I inherited when she passed away, but it's been in my craft room. And previously in episodes, you would have seen many, many boxes on top of here of these boxes, as well as there's a couple others I put in the closet that have wool that I ordered that I haven't had a chance to wash yet. So I thought I would organize this and make it look presentable, because if it looks attractive and presentable, then I'll want to play with my fiber. So let me give you a quick little tour of what I have currently in this setup right now. Okay, so we've got in the middle, this is the coop worth that I still have to go through. So I've got my coop worth, and then I have my Shetland and more Shetland, and that's what I have here. So, and then I have my combs and my hand cards, and that's what I have up here right now. So the coop worth I combed with my hand combs, and then the little bits that were left over in the combs, I just threw them in this box here. And then what I did is, this box got really, really full, and so I used my hand cards here, and I prepped little Rolex, because I would like to also practice spinning woolen, and I think it'd be nice to also have a woolen prep to go with it. So the yarn that I spun up for my sweater that I'm currently knitting, I prepped worsted style using the combs, and then I spun it worsted style. So this is kind of the leftover bits that I'm going to, my plan is to spin it worsted style. So I have these two baskets weighed out so they have the same amount of Rolex in them, and then I still had more fiber to go through, so I still have some more in here that I need to card up and make Rolex out of, and so that's what's left over here. And then I have the Shetland that I washed, that I bought local. And oh my gosh, it looks so much better when it's washed. I mean, that totally makes sense when I say those words out loud, but yeah, I think that's funny. Anyway, so there's the Shetland, and then I've started using the combs again. Okay, I started combing the fiber, and this was a while ago. I showed you guys in an episode, because I wasn't sure if the fiber was clean enough, like if the final bits of residue would fall out in combing, and as you can see, that was the case. It is very, very clean. So, I don't know if you can see, but there are still bits in here, like here's some grass, and there's like specks of dirt and stuff, and so I'm able to like pick those out where they fall out during combing. So this I've weighed, this basket has, I can't even remember how many grams of fiber in it. I think it's 50 grams of fiber. And then I'm starting combing some more Shetland over here. And then here are the little bits left over from the combing, same as I was doing here with the coop worth. And then here's just more washed Shetland that I needed to just shove in a box. So I'm really fancy here with my boxes, as you can see. guys, it's Thursday, June 4th, and Thursdays have been my rest day and completely be stuck inside day because I have class meetings all morning with my students, virtual remote class meetings, and then in the afternoon I have a class meeting where I'm taking this class with other faculty members to learn about equity, diversity, and inclusion. So every Thursday is just jam-packed with virtual meetings all day long. I get to be in this awesome room to do that all day long. But anyway, so today's Thursday. It's my rest day from workouts because I'm so busy. And it's a day I kind of plan to just be indoors, except for the occasional going out into the backyard. And it is a beautiful day today. But anyway, I wanted to share with you that, so I've spent majority of the day working, but I have cast on a new sock because I have joined the summer stash camp hosted by Grace and Wool over on Ravelry, and so you can still join in. It's a summer camp knit along. It's very reminiscent of the winter camp that the Canadian Knitter hosted a few years ago. So we're split into different bunks, and there's the Happy Trails, is it Relaxing Waters, and there's one about campfire. Anyway, I'm in the Happy Trails bunk, and so I figure this would be a nice complement to go with Stash Dash and giving me something to kind of bring a little bit of extra joy into my crafting this summer amidst everything that's going on in the world. And so it can just be a nice way to participate and get involved in the knitting community and connect with new people by participating in this knit along. So I just wanted to share that. So for the month of June, I need to knit up a skein of yarn from my stash, and so I am also thinking about the bingo card. There's also a bingo card we can fill in throughout the summer, and participating in these things earns points for your bunk, your group that you're assigned to. So I picked out this skein of self-striping sock yarn. This is Felici, and oh yeah, there's the tag. Got it. It's Felici sock yarn, and the color is mint chip. And so I'm knitting up a pair of socks for Michael out of this. He loves ice cream. It's his favorite dessert. Well, if I had to ask him to choose between ice cream and pecan pie, I think he would choose ice cream, but I think that's a close call. But anyway, so it's mint chip, and he loves mint chocolate chip ice cream, and so do I. So I'm knitting him these. So I had him help me pick out contrasting color to go with this because I only have one ball of this yarn. Originally when I bought it, I was going to make socks for myself, but I decided these would be better for Michael, and I just need to knit more for him than for me right now. So I had him choose between a couple of colors, and he chose red, and I told him like it could be a really neat Christmas sock with the red and green. So he chose the red. I had a lighter tan than this brown right here. I had a nice light tan, so I had him choose between the tan and the red, and he chose red. So My plan is to knit this pair of socks this month so I can use up this skein of yarn and count it for the summer stash camp. And then also mark off self-striping yarn on the bingo card, and also count it for Stash Dash, and also count it for the Gift Knit Socks Cal. That's what it's called. So I'm hoping to triple dip with this project. That isn't planned, but whips don't count for the summer stash camp, so I needed to cast out a new pair of socks. So I have done that today on June 4th. Saturday, June 6th, and I noticed this morning, okay, first of all, it's sprinkling rain, so this has to be fast. I noticed this morning one strawberry is ready to be harvested, and I wanted to show you. So I did share with you my hand spun cast on, and I did decide to cast on the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer, and it is coming along very, very nicely. So I have in fact finished the body of the sweater, and I'm showing you the back of the sweater, but oh, don't fall on the ground, ball of yarn. But I have finished the body. Yeah, it looks so cool, and I have cast on a sleeve. So this is the waist yarn. I had the sleeve stitches on, and what I like to do is leave the waist yarn in so that I can measure from this line with the tape measure. It just makes life a little bit easier. And if for some reason I should have to rip out the sleeve because something isn't working, then I still have my waist yarn in there. So I just like to leave it in, but that will get removed when the sleeve is finished. And then the other sleeve hole is over here with the waist yarn holding the stitches. So yeah, this is really cool. I have not made much progress on this week because I started participating in a knit along, which I did mention. So I will provide a link down in the description box. You can still join in and participate if you would like to. It's called the Summer Stash Camp, and it's being hosted by Sarah Stevenson. I hope I'm remembering her name correctly. In the Grace and Wool group on Ravelry. She also dyes yarn and has a podcast. But I will provide a link down in the description box below to the Ravelry group. And you can still join in and participate if you would like to. So the idea is to have fun knitting through stash over the summer. Just little fun ways to get involved and build community, and I think it's really fun. And I think it pairs nicely with Stash Dash, which is hosted by the Knit Girls. And I will also link to their Ravelry group down in the description box as well. I love watching the Knit Girls podcast. Thank you for the notification, computer. I do love watching Leslie and Laura of the Knit Girls, and I thoroughly enjoy their conversation and their insight, and the way they talk about books and just their knowledge of the craft of knitting and spinning and sewing. It's just really rich, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Anyway, they host Stash Dash over the summer, which is another knit-along building community and encouraging people to complete projects and knit through their stash. So, and then the third knit-along I'm also participating in is the Gift Knit Socks Cal, which is running all year long. And so I will link to that Ravelry group as well down in the description box below. So you can join in with those things. So in the summer stash camp, whips do not count. So I have already started my campside cardi before June 1st. So that cardigan, when I finish it, will not count for the summer stash camp, but I can count it for Stash Dash. And I just want to finish it. So I've put that on the back burner so that I could work on the at least one finished object that will count toward summer stash camp. And that's a pair of socks for Michael. And you guys, I powered through and I finished the pair. Yeah, so I just finished the second sock before sitting down with you here. It is now 8:30 in the evening. I wanted to use a self-striping ball of yarn so that I could count it for the bingo portion of Summer Stash Camp and block off the self-striping yarn square. And then I also needed to use up one skein from my stash for the month of June. So I used up almost the entire skein of mint chip. I have 3 stripes worth of yarn left over. So half of a repeat. This is a 6-stripe repeat. Excuse me. But yeah, so things about these socks. I started the first one, so I did weigh the ball of yarn to start, and it was 48 grams, so it was just a little shy of the 50 grams it's supposed to be. And so I kept weighing the ball of yarn as I was knitting the leg of the first sock, thinking, okay, I have to use less than 1/4 of the ball. So I used 1/4 of the ball for one leg, and guess what? Didn't have enough to finish the foot, so that I would only use half of the ball. So I had to rip back. Yeah, I ripped back all the way to the ribbing and started over. So I originally had a full 6-stripe color repeat up here and went down to only 3 stripes. And it's just perfect. And I purposefully offset the socks. I thought, oh, that's actually really great that it's half of the number of stripes, because I can put the other 3 stripes to start on the following sock. And yes, it worked out just great. So I did have to wind off, this is the first sock right here. So you can see I started with the light brown, and then I finished with the dark brown. So if we just talk about these 3 colors being paired together, after the dark brown would be this really light color. It's almost like a gray. And you'll notice I did not start with the gray. So I did wind off that stripe so I could get to the greens. Because this gray here is in between the dark brown and the green. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I did wind off that one color stripe so I could start the second sock, so that it was offset in the way that I wanted it to. And it did. And then I finish this, and what's left in the ball of yarn is that the third green stripe, plus, I don't think that's enough for an entire light brown stripe. Excuse me. But there are three color stripes left in the ball, so yay! I don't think I could have really stretched it much farther. But yeah, so I worked these socks cuff down because that's my favorite. I really like using German twisted cast on for the ribbing. I really struggled to do a nice bind off on the top of a sock that's not too loose and not too tight, that's in that Goldilocks range. I do much better with the cast on. So I worked these cuffs down. I did 20 rounds of ribbing in the contrasting color. I usually do 15, but since I knew I was trying to make this small ball of yarn work for socks for Michael, I thought I'd go extra on the amount for the cuff, and I'm really glad I did. I did continue the ribbing down the sock. I did ask my husband to try on a bunch of his socks from his wardrobe, the ones that I have knit for him, and to give me some feedback on which ones fit the best. He was complaining that some of his socks tend to fall down during the day, so we have decided that socks that have ribbing all down the leg, and it's even nice that it continues down onto the foot, that is his preferred style. So I'm going to be knitting more of those. So that is what I did. I worked a heel flap and gusset. I think those just fit better, and hopefully will hold up better as well with the slip stitches in there. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I finished these, so I'm going to have to take pictures so I can post them for points for my camp. But yeah, I'm really excited. I powered through these and got them done, which means now that I finished these, I can go back to working on my cardigan. And I really want to finish my cardigan before I start my next spinning project, because I want to see how this works up in completion. Like, I really like how the yarn, I'm looking over here at the sweater, I might as well hold it up. I really like how the yarn is working up. I think these stripes are interesting of where the coloration in the wool and how it plied up and everything. But I like the stitch definition. I think the eyelet pattern right now before washing and blocking looks kind of messy. So I'm hoping that cleans up afterward, but yeah, I just want to see what the finished result is going to be like. I want to make sure I have enough of the yarn. I do have a bit more coop worth upstairs, like I said, that I could spin up in an emergency. So I don't want to fill my bobbins with a new spinning project if I might have to do that. But mostly, I think I'm good on yardage. I think I want to see how this turns out before I start something new. So if there's something I want to change, I can do that. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So until then, I hope you stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your craft, whatever it may be.